I'm Marek Baczynski. We've been talking a lot about smart devices today, and I have a certain opinion about them that I would love to share with some people. And I'm sure other people agree, but it's good to voice these things. So, there's this quote from, I think, Albert Einstein: any sufficiently advanced buzzword is indistinguishable from smartness. This is a trend that we see. That the buzzwords are taking over the smart technology, and well, let's see if we can do something about that. If we look at the dictionary, what does smart even mean, right? The Oxford Dictionary now defines that as having or showing intelligence, and actually they have a definition for smart devices. It's a device that can be programmed or is programmed so it can do an independent action. Independent, bolded, that's a key word here. So that we're on the same page, let's look at this cat here. It's not a device, but this way we can agree on a definition here. This cat can open a fridge, fetch something from it. I would call it a smart cat, because it can independently, or it can even microwave it so it's warm. Would you call this a smart cat? Right? It's a smart cat. Devices, we have more and more smart devices. This is a very iconic one, the Nest learning thermostat. It's been on the market for almost 8 years now. That's pretty long. And I would definitely call this a smart device. If you don't know what it does, it sees if you're at home or not. If you're not at home, it stops the heating, it stops the AC to preserve energy. It basically tries to use as little energy as possible to make you comfortable. And if you feel uncomfortable, you can adjust it. It will learn to make sure that it knows you as good as possible. It's completely automatic, and the idea here is that it does the thinking for you. Smart. If we try to take it apart, we'll notice that it has fancy colors. You can control it from an app, and it intelligently solves a problem so the user doesn't have to think about it anymore. And those are 3 criteria that kind of define the smart home, the smart devices scene right now. But if we look at some of the other devices, this is a smart kettle, for example. It's a kettle that you can control from your phone. You can remotely start it. You can remotely monitor the progress of brewing tea. How often are you away from home and you think, oh, I wonder if my kettle is warm now? Not particularly. So they did the fancy colors right. They did the control from an app part very well, but it doesn't really solve any problem. So how can we call it smart if it doesn't have any intelligence? Another example, this is a smart scale. Fancy colors, controlled from the app, and it can log your weight. But for you to log the weight, you have to pull out your phone, turn on the app, pair with it every single time you stand on it. So it doesn't do anything automatically. You still need to do these actions. You still need to think, oh, I should log this weight so I can have it for later. You might as well, that's a smart alarm, by the way. You might as well just write it on a piece of paper. I saved my favorite example for last. This is the smart salt dispenser. It's connected through Wi-Fi to the internet, and it can dispense a specific amount of salt into this tiny little tray. And here I quote, it has an app that allows you to intuitively dose the amount of salt by shaking your phone. And then you pull it out from the tray and shake it anyway to put it on your food. I think all of these are designed by the what else principle. You have a device and you think, what else can we make it do? Or what else can we make that smart? And if you ask this question, it's a question that marketing teams all over the world ask themselves, what else can we do smart? You end up with stuff like, again, a real product, a smart shower that you can start with your phone. This is on Kickstarter. It made like $100,000. It's a real product. I think a better design principle is how. How do we make something smart? How do we make something improve people's lives? How can we take away thinking from people so that they can think about other stuff, about love or whatever? I tried to address this problem last year. I made this video on YouTube, which is a hopefully noticeably sarcastic approach to making a smart pen, which you can control from your phone. And I think there's actually hope because, well, fortunately, people question. By the time I get to the laptop integration, which is just duct tape to the laptop, people start asking questions like, how is this useful? Like, why don't you just push the button? I'm happy to see that people are asking these questions. I'm happy to see people are asking how, because I think that's the question we should really ask ourselves. How are these things useful, and how can we make them better? Thanks for listening, thanks for questioning, and I hope you will... Yes.